to episode 18 of the Backlash podcast. We are a weekly episodic podcast that talks about the Raw Deal card game, WWE. What's going on with you this week?
Nothing. I've moved.
Who are you? We We don't introduce ourselves for the new people. So you are.
I'm Eric.
Oh, that's nice. And I'm Scott. Yes. We're working on an intro so that we can have that play before our song, and then everyone knows who we are, and then we don't have to do this every episode. So yeah, we're working on that.
It's a slow process.
Yeah. So what's new?
I haven't touched my cards at all.
No.
Just went through moving. However, we'll bring it up later on. We did get some games in the other weekend. Mm-hmm. Some interesting stuff came up.
Yeah, got a tournament in.
Other than that, I'm looking forward to building casual decks for Planet FunCon that's coming up on June 22nd, 23rd, 24th. So yeah, it's reeling back on the competitive ones because I think I have what I want narrowed down. And then just building some casual stuff.
Yeah, I built Becky Lynch and Tori Wilson recently just to see how Becky I like Becky a lot. So I was like, you built her before. Like I kind of looked at your deck list to get some ideas. I think the pre-match is pretty similar, but the arsenal's a little different. Again, we'll talk about one of her cards a little later, her goggles. And then Tori Wilson, I was just spitballing ideas of like, hey, there's a few things you could do with action-heavy decks and a few ways to get around some of the cards that stop them. Like she has a specific that stops Old School Wrestling Match basically by removing the top card of her arsenal from the game instead of milling 6, which is awesome. There's a few cards that get around rules meant to be broken and not on my broadcast throwback. So I was like, I'm revisiting her. She didn't get a lot in virtual because most cards that come out are unique actions which she can't search for, but she did get one specific where she can search for her specifics instead of a non-unique action, so you can get a Mind Games throwback and search for a DDT and throw a trademark first turn, which can't be stopped by reach, which is kind of cool. It can be stopped by no sell, but her other pre-match lets you look at your opponent's hand the whole time, and I really like that, having hand knowledge. It makes the game a lot easier when you don't have to second guess every move you're making.
Yeah, with another superstar that lets you look all game is your freaking hero. With his backstage area card, lets you play the 3 eyes in the pre-match phase. Yeah. So you're getting like +3 damage to your maneuvers, drawing 2 a turn, and looking at the hand all game.
Mm-hmm. But he doesn't get his chain ability.
He loses the chain, but I mean, how much more you can do. Yeah. And no steps either, so he doesn't get the invitational, so he can't go and search for it.
Which is kind of good, but...
but I mean, you're drawing 2 a turn and all that. I mean, like I said, I'm looking at the casual decks. See what I can do with that.
So what's happening around the web in the last few weeks?
Not a whole lot. I mean, revisions hit... We're recording June 1st, so all the revisions are out today for Virtual Raw Deal. Make sure to check them out on teamcanadaonline.net. We're gonna visit that shortly. But there's a Lackey event going on still. It's hard to get everyone lined up for it. It's a bad superstar event, so some people get their superstars and they're unresponsive to your, hey, we have a game. A few people have their 3rd matches done. Eric Rowan's currently 3-0 in the event. And there are 2-0s, Dean Malenko, Sami Zayn, and that's it really. But yeah, it's a cool little roster of superstars that are considered bad, where I look at them and I'm like, they're not that bad. Like primetime players and Dangerous Alliance, who got revised.
You love Dangerous Alliance.
I like those cards that you don't typically pack.
Yeah, it's something unique and different.
But yeah, and then we just got Lackey updated for your laptop.
Yes.
So, your brief experience with it, how are you liking it as a search engine?
Yeah, I like the search engine. Just to search for cards when you think you know all the raw heal cards and you're like, maybe I'm forgetting one, so you can just type that in, search for raw cards and raw heal cards, and you can find them. So I really like that. I think it will help with deck building and deck building ideas, and I like that it has a lot of the specifics and virtual specifics already loaded up the images.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I mentioned this in the past, but I'm an image guy. Like, I would rather see the card image than read the text on like Team Canada Online. So rather than going into every PDF and opening it to look at it, I'm gonna like this where I can just be like scrolling down and read what this card does. So it'll help me learn a lot more of the cards a little quicker, I think. So I like that.
I feel with Lackey versus players that don't have it, we kind of have an advantage on them. Because you brought up Alberto Del Rio, where I could look specifically for randomly and then discard as two different words in the text, and then everything comes up with those two words. So it's like, Taunt the Fans. I wouldn't have thought of Taunt the Fans at all.
Yeah.
So it's that advantage, but then it comes down to, okay, now, how do you utilize your advantage? You have the cards, but you have to be able to play.
Yeah, and build the rest of the deck. Yeah. It's still important.
What do you mean clutch apply doesn't work as well anymore?
Yeah. It still does. I still think it has a place in the game. I don't know. Like, we started watching, and since joining Discord, we've been watching the Illinois and Iowa players, and they've been talking about how most of them pack this is going to be an old school brawl. So a lot of our players have started packing it, and no one's played it once in our area in a tournament setting.
Well, I hear a lot too, where it's like everyone's running shakes and pokes, and that to counter the old school wrestling match stipulation.
Yeah.
Where it's like we don't run into that here.
Yeah.
And Brahma Bowl's a big problem too, for running shakes and pokes, which we'll talk about that shortly as well. But so I'm happy there are more matches being posted to YouTube from other play groups, because then you're getting a feeling for how all these different areas play.
Playing, yeah. And again, we've picked up cards that we wouldn't have normally looked at and given them a look, and I'm sure they've done the same. And we'll watch some videos and be like, what are they doing? And they'll watch some of our videos and say, what are you guys doing? But we're all learning as we go, and I like the fact with Discord that we can just ask kind of rules questions on the go and be like, hey, we're in a tournament now. First 3 responses, take a majority vote.
Well, it was a lot of fun too with our latest event in the Tournament News channel. I was posting like live updates, and everyone seemed to be really enjoying that. So I think going forward, we'll do that regularly.
Yeah.
It's fun to engage everyone, right? I mean, because there's only so many pockets around the world that are still playing, so why not get as many of them involved?
Yeah.
I think the upsurge of players returning is I mean, I think we say this every episode now. But what was it the other night there? I was talking with the player from Oregon.
Yeah, there were 2 new people on there that were getting back in the Classic and getting their feet wet. So.
But he's like, okay, we're using just Premier to Divas Overload. You know, I don't blame him for not wanting to go buy new cards, only if you want to go get into the game. So it's like you're digging through your memory bank. So it's like, okay, what was good back then? Oh, like Taunt the Fans with Pump Kick. It was a great idea. And
Lariat Takedown, that multi-roll for 7.
Yeah, actually, that would be really good. I didn't think of that. But you're looking at that, it's like, remember when like the game was more simple back then? Like even before like Survivor Series 3 and the value packs.
Yeah.
And you reminisce about it. It's like, man, like some days you kind of wish you could go back in time and play the game when it was more simple.
You can at any time. You can say, hey, we're going to play a tournament and up to Divas Overload legal. Go to town.
I don't want to. I just wish I could go. If I'm forced to go back. maybe after June when we're done
do a little
our travels.
Yeah. Alrighty, on to our segment of the show with the revisions that just came out recently and went live today with the new images. We decided to each pick a few cards to review and kind of go over the changes and the impact they'll have rather than do the entire list. So do you want to start with one card that you chose?
Yeah, I think this one it's a big change. It was running rampant in our area for a little while. It was pretty annoying. Until you reverse every card that can be reversed on it. But it's the interview with Mean Gene Okerlund. So it's been updated. There's some packing restrictions that aren't a big deal. that have been changed, but now every card listed on it is unique, permanent, and you ignore the can only be play text. So now it is good things sometimes happen. Offer a handshake, turn the tide, turn up the heat, which were already on it. Well deserved push, and who booked this match. So the big standout for B is you ignore the can only be played text on turn the tide. Mm-hmm. So now if you're ahead, you can just play an irreversible turn the tide and do another irreversible card. Sure, like restricted use gets around it, but restricted, you have to choose, your opponent has to choose what do they restricted use on this card.
I think you're restricting the turn the tide.
So now my deck is going to have other cards that force you to play that restricted use earlier on.
Yeah. And that's always the debate playing a game, right? You get one restricted use. Do you use it early to try and keep your opponent off the board as long as possible, or do you save it for later? Mm-hmm. Recently I've been saving it for later just because it can win games. Like they'll play something that they think can't be reversed, and you have it restricted, or it has a modification on it or whatever, and you can restrict it and play a big pain reversal, backslide inside cradle that you wouldn't be able to play, or something along those lines that can end the game, and you're like, yeah, glad I saved my restrictor for that. So.
Where I've always been like an early restricted use player, where it's like, no, I'm going to prevent you from doing something early and try to red wall you. Mm-hmm. However, that's kind of not what the game is anymore.
Yeah.
But you forget that. Where it's like, oh man, I wish I had my restricted use for your multi-trademark finisher.
People are going to get on the board now. There's a way.
One thing I also forget is it can't be packed with Making Your Escape.
Yeah, because it has escape in the title, so I don't know that we've run across that yet, but it's something to keep in mind. I'll be watching for that DQ, you local players.
or keep watching our YouTube videos and tell us that
we did it. Yeah, it's a nice boost for you can play offer handshake and well-deserved push. I don't think those are big game changers. Like, okay, draw your 4, make me discard 2. Like that, who booked this match to make them discard 2 could be a crucial thing if you're a chain deck or something and you know they only have 1, 2, 3 cards in the game. You'd be like, no, discard the 2 and now I can just go off on you. But the fact that they're all unique, a little bit of a drawback. So they gave them the extra few cards, and the good things sometimes happen chains into all those other cards that are listed on it that can no longer be reversed.
But I mean, they're none come to mind that are going to be Pat and Jerry.
Yeah, but you can't really play in the old school wrestling match games. But
Kevin Owens,
right? If heel's good, like they have flash in the pan and things to make them discard all the heel cards. So.
But I like it. It's a good change. Now you're not kind of backlash heavy. We're running 3 turn up the heats, where that's what you're doing with it before, so it leaves more options for your deck building. The cards listed on take up a 10th of your deck. Honestly, I'm not going to be running good things sometimes happen. You ignore the can only play text, so you get the well-deserved push text.
I mean, you might run the good things sometimes happen to follow up with a precision sleeper. They can't respond to it. If you need a card, Shane O'Mac, you need to play something before it's high risks. They can't respond to these cards, so they're successful 100% of the time. So if you need something to follow up, that has to be a follow-up. Like those are great cards to be doing with. You only get one of them, but
I completely missed that you cannot respond to it.
Yeah.
So it's a guaranteed
offer handshake. And that's why I would say I would always save my restricted for the turn the tide, because they get 1 turn the tide. That's it. It's not permanent. It doesn't say permanent, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so they're unique and permanent. So yeah, it's like once that's done, you're like, okay, I should be safe. So yeah, that's what I would do, unless they turn up the heat into a drop till hold, and I really need something to stay. Ooh.
But then you have the sidewalk slams.
Yeah.
Not counter strike.
Oversells. Carlito, douchebag, all those cards. Yeah.
So much. What do you got for us, Scott?
Alrighty, the card that I picked, fitting to my name, was Scotty Too Hottie. When they originally released the revision, they said when you successfully play any card with exactly 2 words in it, you draw 2 cards. So they basically made his ability active in the pre-match phase, And then Dizzy on Discord went and made a list and said, hey, here's the 45, 50 cards with exactly 2 words in the pre-match cards. And then we're like, oh wait, so now Scotty's going to start every game with like 24 cards in his hands and he doesn't have to discard for Armageddon's opponents. That's kind of gross. So they re-revised the revision and axed that it's active in the pre-match phase. But he's still got like updates to 3 or 4 of the other cards that are really good, and Scotty Bash now reads as reverse any non-unique card and draw up to 2 cards. So I think he's still going to be interesting. I think a few more eyes are on him, so we should see him in a tournament upcoming probably, whether it's ours or someone else's. But yeah, he's neat. I think I'll give him a try just because it fits the name. Maybe I'll get you to Photoshop my head on him.
Well, and you could pack the return bash of Scotty's worm without being bash.
Without being bash, yeah.
So like that with Revolution of the Mind is like a good start for a reversal sweep. And with last year, the revised Superstars got card support in the following set, and Too Cool is going to be getting card support in the upcoming set because all the NXT Arrival guys,
because they were on that card.
Yeah, so maybe he'll get a share card if it's Too Cool or something. It's game breaking. I don't know. I mean, Sheriff Austin and Rick Rude and Dragon Steamboat, they weren't game breaking, but it shifted them to be more playable.
Yeah, for sure. Alrighty, your second card that you chose.
I chose a Superstar with you, except I had to one up you and increase my hand size and value by 1 each, so they're 3/3, the Shield. There was a lot of discussion about these guys about a month ago, where when they play their first reversal to reverse a card and end the turn. So if they were reversing a multi without a completely reversal, like a once is enough or get the F out, they wouldn't get to activate their ability. So they changed them. So once during any player's turn when you play a reversal, is now the wording, you may draw up to 3 cards and then put 2 cards from hand on the bottom of your arsenal. I think that's a huge difference maker because you get it for sustained damage, Fortitude Surge, took it on the chin, which is a card I've been enjoying a lot more lately. Raw and Ready you'll get to, not that they're exactly going to pack it, but I mean their total teamworks are Fortitude 0, which I think reverse non-unique maneuver.
Yeah, and you draw
way better than I thought it was.
It's ridiculous. It's hybrid, but it's ridiculous. And like it makes you fear playing a multi against the Shield now because they get to dig for like a second reversal, right?
Yeah.
Like, power slam. Oh, draw 3. Oh, there's another power slam. Smack. And you're like,
So they're a big boost. I know one of our local players was working on them before. I kind of hemmed and hawed on it because they're a big blindside focus specifics, and I do like some of the blindside cards, which you could check out 3 episodes ago. We had a whole section focused on blindsides. Plus the Shield. Who doesn't like the Shield?
Yeah.
It's the only way I like Roman Reigns.
Yeah. It's not that bad. It's not that bad.
Suffer and succotash. I can't get over it.
That was 5 years ago.
It's still real to me, damn it. But yeah, Shield. They're stable. They're still tag team. They only can't pack corners and first of all, so
they got all the tag and stable support. Ugh.
So they get like the 3 first of alls. They get classic teamwork in the mid match.
3 first of alls.
Not.
They don't get any first of alls. They just know this.
3 total teamworks. Yeah. They get that classic teamwork.
Flurry of finishers.
Like that's a big found. Oh, and they have something like 5 trademark finishers. I think.
Yeah, numbers game. Yeah, they got all the good stuff. So, right.
Look out for the Shield in your local play area.
And then the second card that I chose was really That's Enough Shenanigans, which already had that you can't play more than 3 copies of Who's Cooler Than Michelle McCool. All backfire cards are permanent. And when any player is not The Rock and has greater fortitude, his Brahma Bull and Cruiserweight title are blank. So that's nice. I know Brahma Bull has been an issue. We had someone actually built Dwayne and the Great One in our play area. Now the great one I don't think can pack it, but Dwayne can.
Dwayne can, yeah.
Yeah, he's the movie guy. Yeah, and then People's Champ gets access to Brahma Bull, and so I like that. It's just when you're behind, it kind of gives you a little bit of a boost. It's always been an issue with running the rock on like a defensive standpoint for me. It's been like, okay, Brahma's like always active, so I have to run lots of elbows and clumsies and stuff, but as soon as they get over that 4 fortitude, like all these cards become dead in your deck, right? So it's gonna continue to be an issue for me on like what reversal set to run when I'm playing the rock with People's Champ, because like Brahma Bull isn't always effective now, guaranteed, right? So it's like,
well, I mean, you can still build the rock.
yeah, and
then,
it's always active, yeah. And then, yeah.
But with Virtual 2, where there's so many cards now that reduce the fortitude on your maneuvers, and a lot of this isn't optional, you know, I think Brahma Bull's more effective than it's ever been. Where it's like, okay, I'm tossing, like the shield, for example, their blindsides are like -2 for every, you know, X in an area. So I'm throwing this blindside slam that's a 2 for 11.
It becomes a 0 for 1 or 2
an 0 for 1, it's like, okay, clumsy. Like you're like, so I think rock, like there's a reason why they did this to the Brahma Bull is because of how the game has shifted. And I think the rock is still like a very good option.
And it is like the rock specific, right? So, and when you, not all the time, but when you do play Brahma Bull, you're less likely to be able to play People's Kip Up, which is a really good card. So like People's Champ and Dwayne will still get that, which may trigger more often now once your opponent's getting around the Brahma Bull. So.
And that's a superstar I think would be really good for Mean Gene, because you have the People's Elbow Pad, Kip Up, Turn the Tide. Okay, what am I using my restricted use of this area on?
That's what I did. I built my Dwayne deck with Mean Gene, because you're playing all these movie cards that can't be reversed, and some of them make your next card can't be reversed. So it's like, when you get a restricted, you get one. And then the other part of that, all backfire cards are permanent. I think that's interesting. So if your opponent's playing not on my broadcast, you only get one backfire in the entire game, which can be blanked with Road to Victory. So that took a little bit of a hit, because most people will play like a Luck of the Draw in the pre-match phase, and that'll be their only heat card. Then they'll play a Backfire, which gets roaded, but now they have the 2 heat cards, so they can't play Reversal from hand for the next 2. So that strategy is at the window. And the other part about it being permanent is that when you Headstrong, it doesn't clear that pre-match room anymore, because you used to remove it and open up a slot or 2, so that doesn't happen anymore. So now your Backfire is staying in your ring area when it's successful. But yeah, you still can play 2 or 3 if your opponent's not playing on my broadcast. So
I look at this as a downgrading leader of the population.
yeah,
It's like they're just keeping those Canadian
keeping those
superstars
Canadians
down.
down. Yeah.
Let me tell you about this card support these Canadian superstars are getting.
Well, you put up a good argument about the ENC podcast and Jericho podcast and Austin podcast, and Creed asked you to post them on TCO, so there may be something in the future.
And actually, Chris Jericho just got a whole new remake and everything, but it's an edging Christian.
Yeah,
They live from like an hour away from us.
yeah.
Captain Christmas Strikes is not a good card. Don't give it +4 damage.
Alrighty, so under our fun tournament report, that 5th seed Cena ended up winning.
I played against him, but I made short work of him. Did you play against the Cena deck?
I played against the Cena deck. I was playing NWO, and I was trying to build a fun deck, so I didn't run Revolution of the Minds or Elbows. I just ran no cells. And then I didn't have anything until I got 5 Fortitude, then I had Backslides, Inside Cradles, and Headstrongs. So that was my reversal base for the day. So his Cena deck was just a back to basics. He ran 10 moves and 5 actions and probably 45 reversals. and just like threw 0 for 4 grapples the entire game until he pinned you.
Oh, because it was the never give up.
Never give up. Yeah, he didn't play Yo Kill the Beat. It was back to basics. So it was a cool build. But yeah, I had 2 no cells and 2 inside cradles and 2 headstrongs, and that was literally like the only reversals in my deck for his 0 for 4s. So eventually, our first game like went to time, but I think 5 minutes after time he turned the tide into a trademark or something and won the game. But the second game, yeah, he just beat me. I ran out of reversals. Couldn't save my inside cradles for later because he was playing drop toe holds and I needed the fortitude, and I was like, I'm gonna regret this because I'll have no way to pin him because I was just like heat chain deck, so I'd just throw a move and he'd spin a reversal. The crappy part, he passed like 2 chain heats and 2 goddess out of plays, so literally every move in my deck got hit by chained heat. And then a lot of my volleys and throwbacks got hit, like Steiner recliner throwback, and he was like, gotta say how to play. I'm like, yeah, my trademark that I was gonna win with. So yeah, almost every game he removed 3 or 4 of my best cards from the game, and I was like, this is just not a pleasant matchup against you. So yeah, I didn't win against him.
I did pretty okay. I ran a Kevin Owens. It wasn't as fun. I mean, it was fun for me. He performed really well, but that caused a lot of issues because, I mean, everyone was playing more casual laid-back decks, and Kevin Owens isn't one of those. I ran 2 of the Unbreakable Chains in my pre-match. So when they reverse a chain maneuver, I activated to continue my turn. If they reverse it with Don't Try This at Home, then I just put controlling the pace of the match into play before the draw segment. It ends their turn, and then I draw 2 cards.
Yeah,
and then 1 for my turn.
So that's kind of nasty, right? You have Kevin Owens, like, you think of it on his first turn, he's drawing 1 for his turn. Your opponent plays reversal to your maneuver. You have the NXT to WWE, which lets you draw an additional card for your ability, so you get to draw 2 cards for that. And then you play controlling your match to draw 2 cards, and then you skip his turn, you draw for your turn, and then he plays reversal, and then you draw 2 cards. So like you get 8 cards in your mitt, and he had to skip a turn. So as a playgroup we were just talking about, maybe it should be revised that there's like a drawback on playing controlling your match rather than a bonus for putting it into play.
Well, the only drawback on it is if you do it on the first turn, you don't draw the 2.
Yeah.
But it's not a huge drawback.
Not a big draw. So yeah, an 8-card swing, like that's pretty intense. And then he gets underrated with the NXT belt, and he's at 8 hand size, so you have 20 cards in your hand, and your opponent hasn't had a turn. It's like that's pretty nasty.
I played a match against Braun Strowman afterwards. He started with like 12, 13, maybe 11 cards. By the time he was drawing for his turn, he had 3 cards in his hand. But that comes down to, it's like, well, okay,
But what are you reversing, right? Like, if he's reversing a chain, well, he doesn't have to discard for no cell, but if he's discarding cards for chain, it's like, do you do that, or do you just spin and hope for the reversal, and then you don't get to draw a bunch of cards?
Yeah.
So that's kind of how Kevin Owens' ability is you have to adapt to know, okay, do I let it go through, or do I reverse it to let him draw cards? And you have to know how your deck works and how your deck works. I mean, the Unbreakable Chains is a good idea. We learned after the tournament that if you overturn a reversal on a flawless transition with a quick snap body slam, that it ends the turn if you reverse a quick snap.
That's a big change.
We didn't play that rule in our tournament. Now, none of us have played that rule, so it wasn't like it's a big change, but it didn't give anyone in our group an advantage per se, right? Because we were all playing it the same way. But knowing that it's if you spin a reversal it ends a turn, that's going to be a big change going forward for us, I think. So things you pick up because you stream, and then people are like, "Hey, that's not how that works."
Yeah. But back to Kevin Owens. My favorite part of the event, which you could see in my match against the Mexicools, is I did a pop-up power bomb that went all the way through, and then it has an activated card effect where you discard 2 to put it from your ring into your hand. Okay. So then I played it again, and I pinned him.
Yeah. I like the better part where he played his like Mexicool drop kick. You reversed it with your Kevin Owens, like anything you can do, I can do better. played a Mexico dropkick against him. He reversed it and then played another Mexico dropkick on his turn. I was like, whoa! Look at all these moves flying around. Yeah. I like the text on the pop-up power omni. Like discard a card, pick it up, and pop, 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 pop.
He has an action as well that I wasn't able to use. That you can't respond to it. It copies the text out of the superstar specific non-hybrid action in the ring side, and you just gain that text.
Yeah.
Until the end of the turn. So it's like
nasty.
So it's like, oh, you have this great specific. Okay, well now I get it, and you can't do anything about it.
Yeah. So like his specifics with the NXT support is kind of crazy, kind of good. That's Kevin Owens.
Well, let's see what more NXT support comes up down the road as well with the focused NXT set. Any decks that stood out for you though that our opponents were playing? I really like the Hacksaw Jim Duggan with those unrespondable USAs where you shuffle 6 and I think draw 2 because you double the numbers on it.
Yes. The one thing we talked about with his deck was he was running Let Me Get a Shot In because he can just pick it up with the unrespondable USA and like continue to throw it. But the drawback with that was that the opponent doesn't have to discard cards to play reversals to it, right? So he ended up playing against me, and I was like big choke slam, big show's choke slam. He had to like take 10 damage, and I didn't have to discard 11 cards because it wasn't a clothesline. So like that would have been a game changer if I had to pitch my whole hand at that time to reverse that card. So we suggested that you take it out. Like it looks really tempting to get 25 fortitude, but I think the spinning clotheslines that they have to discard 3 to play a reversal to, or potentially more.
Yeah.
It's nasty enough as it is.
But nothing stood out. I mean, the John Cena Never Give Up it's funny. Where if your move is reversed, you put it under Never Give Up. It has to be the first card you play on your next turn.
Yeah.
Except it's back to basic maneuvers. So
there was some good debate about the Natty card. That when your opponent plays a Diva card, you can like just arbitrarily pick up your arsenal and look through it to find a card and hope that you remember to put in your deck. Otherwise, you get DQ'd for just picking up your deck and looking at it. So, interesting mechanic.
Yeah, because it's the first of its kind where it's like, oh, because of this, I'm gonna just search my arsenal.
Yeah, just gonna pick it up and look at it. And if your opponent's stacked in a certain way, it's like, too bad.
Oh, it was secretly removed from the game this whole time.
Yeah.
What are you doing picking up your deck for? And then beforehand, you got to play a game with Becky Lynch. You brought her up earlier, so you want to talk about her goggles? Yeah.
I don't really like the goggles. I think that the effect on it is a little too weak. Because basically what you have to do is discard, I forget if it's discard or put a precision card from your hand on the bottom of your deck or discard it, and then you get to choose 2 random cards from your opponent's hand. Pick one. Thanks. Your opponent reveals 2 random cards. You choose one of the revealed cards, and you must either put that card on the bottom or remove the other card from the game. So, first of all, you're getting random cards, so you're not even guaranteed to get good cards. Second of all, you pick the best card, he just removes the other card in his hand from the game, so you know you're not getting the best card in his hand literally ever. And then you get to, I guess the benefit is that you get to see one card in his hand, but at the cost of discarding your offensive maneuver. So I found with Becky that like once you get on the board, it's great, but she just literally runs out of steam, and I don't know if that's pun intended or not, but like I'm struggling with her after I initially got on the board to be like, okay, now what? Because her draw power is a little weak. She has to discard her own offensive maneuvers to get rid of the second worst random card in your opponent's hand, which I did it once in each of my games. I was like, forget about that.
I think she's certainly the weakest of the 4 horsewomen. What I like about her is her precisions are considered volley and dynamic for her card effects. Something that she can get like Matt Stryker as your teacher into play. Pyrotechnic volleys, but like we're in a game where so many people can draw and cycle their hand after all this stuff resolves. Where it's like, are the pyrotechnic volleys really all that great?
I think they're still good. I still run 1 because it doesn't hurt, and like I really think her NBXT pre-match card, I still think it's a terrible card.
I see. I'm not. I
argued it, but all you do is search for 2 precisions, 2 non-unique precisions.
Yeah.
And then during the game, if you have low fortitude, you can ace it and pick up 2 precisions.
No, you can ace it at any time. But if you have 5 or lower fortitude, the ace can't be reversed.
Yeah.
But it's like the precisions aren't great.
Right? But you're taking up a pre-match slot to get 2 non-unique precisions. Like, I would rather do something else, I think. I don't know, like, I haven't decided what, but it's like, I reluctantly played it because you're like, oh, come on, it's alright. But I was like, I can get 2 precisions or I can get something else. So, I think it's a weak card.
Yeah, I mean, it fits her theme, and then like you're searching for 2, and you're pretty much going to use it for pyrotechnic volley.
Yeah. But
I wish she was better.
that's it, right? Like you lose 1 to pyrotechnic volley, you use 1 to goggles, and now you're back to where you started, and you're like, okay, now I have nothing offensive because I just got rid of my moves. Her ability is all right. That you put. When you successfully play a precision card with precision title, you put 2 non-reversals on the bottom.
So you get 3 from NXT to WWE.
Yeah.
But they're non-reversals.
Exactly. So it's like, okay, I got 3 cards back, and
I'll put these precisions back.
right? But then you got to draw into them or play them somehow,
And like when you're lower for equal or lower, your precisions are considered unique first card effects.
I don't think I've ever read that part of her ability.
So
that makes her slightly better.
So it gets around.
It gets around Scotty Bash.
But Scotty Bash doesn't even touch it.
Yeah,
anyways.
that's right, because it has precision in the title. Yeah. So yeah, it's unique, but okay. I like her. I like Becky Lynch as a wrestler, so I'm gonna still tinker around with it a bit. The one thing I found with my deck build was that it's like loaded with reversals. Right, you have King interferes, outside interference, Made in Ireland, skirt the issue times 1, 2, or 3, reach, restricted. It's like there's 8 really good reversals, and both games I pretty well filled my match with reversals. So I slid in a couple of blindside tornado takedowns are one of our favorite cards. So you can remove them all from the game and open your mid match for the last 2 or 3 or 4 things that you want to do, whether it's some actions or moves to get on the board. Team PCB, panics, whatever you want to do with her.
So you can build your bash because they're considered volley for your effects. So you could do bash with the pyrotechnic volleys. You get some early fortitude.
Yeah.
That way you have to script the issues at 3.
No, you don't. Not with it.
Ah!
You can go revolutionizing. You can get the 6 fortitude one, but then you still gotta get the 3 fortitude.
I would much rather have the non-unique script the issues.
Yeah, and run mod clutch. Like that's what I've been doing with her. Because I'm like, well, at least the panic mods get me on the board a little more reliably than like a blind side, like a precision card. So precision clothesline.
I mean, your Charlotte deck is like blows this out of the water.
Yeah, right.
Sasha Banks, I've been trying to build her. It's difficult, but I think her support and the card effects are better than this. I mean, because at least Sasha, she could keep picking up maneuvers when you reverse, so she always has that. And Bailey has the headband effect, and when she overturns for non-maneuver damage, she can pick up cards.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at these other 3 girls, and it's like, poor Becky. It's like, ugh, she's doing nothing in Raw Deal like she is on SmackDown right now.
Yeah. Maybe she'll get a card to boost her in the next set or something. We can hope.
I hope so.
She's still new, right? Like, all of the divas are pretty new, and a few of them got, like, I think they all got a new card in.
And Becky Lynch gets like a poopy virtual
I
card.
didn't even print it. Do you have it on there?
I'll look for it. But like
I
Charlotte,
didn't even print it because I'm like, look at this card. Like, Charlotte gets a nice trademark, and the backed by Emma, the shared card with Emma, and I'm like,
when Bailey came out, Sasha got a pre-match card that lets her pick up a specific or a card with back in the title. It's like, ugh. And then poor Becky.
she got a multi-action. I'm pretty sure it's like 14 fortitude. Something super late game.
Where is she here? Becky Lynch. Virtual holiday set. V8 Precision Flying Firearm is a strike high risk multi. When played as a counter or after straight fire, it can only be reversed by 2 D0 reversal cards. When played, overturn 3 cards if you do. Or when played after a throw, it's -6. So it's a 10 for 8 after that. Your opponent puts 1 random card from his hand on top of his arsenal and drops a white card. When played after straight fire, double his numbers.
It's like, yeah.
It's pretty weak.
Did you get an action too, or am I just going crazy?
No, I think the action already
It
existed.
just existed, yeah.
Oh, straight fire. Straight fire is the card that's just listed. Reversals to this card are +10 fortitude and D0. It's a 10 fortitude card itself. Your next maneuver play this turn is -10 fortitude and +2 damage, and when it is successful, you may draw up to 2 cards. When this card is in your ring, your non-specific reversals to your maneuvers are D0. Non-specific reversals to your maneuvers are D0.
Yeah. It's like, it's okay.
But okay, draw into it.
Yeah. So, I gotta print those, but...
But when, like, Charlotte's getting, like, 2 pre-match cards. Did she get 1 pre-match card or 2 pre-match cards?
One pre-match? I don't think she got any pre-match.
She got backed by the BFFs, which was a Summer Rae shared card, where she draws 3, discards 3, puts 3 from a ring set on the bottom of her arsenal.
Yeah, it's not
with the 4 horsewomen. So
Yeah.
Charlotte's cycling 7 cards at the very least in the pre-match
She
phase.
got a backstage card.
Get backed by Dana Brooke.
This is really good.
When your opponent plays a non-maneuver card, he overturns. And a few other things. Like, let's go to Sasha. She got backed by the BFFs as well, so she got that Charlotte card. And she got Legit Boss, which is +2 pre-match. When you completely reverse an opponent's maneuver, put 1 non-hybrid bank specific or back of the title from ringside to hand. When you have equal or lower fortitude, and that card is your next card play this turn, it's now multi and ignore completely.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, like those are really good.
Yeah.
And poor Becky.
It's a multi-action that... Like, it's good. It's like, she does have a lot of multi-actions, and she can recover them with her ability. They go on the bottom of the deck if you can somehow successfully play a precision that doesn't get reached or
That's the thing though. Like,
douchebagged or whatever.
like her precisions are considered dynamic and volley for the effects, but she has her ability she can't impact dynamically inclined.
Yeah.
So it's like, this is just for mat strikers and like Milamo Armando
Well, you
Estrada.
have Lita. If you can successfully play one, you draw one.
That's the
Managed
problem
by
though,
Lita.
is if. But you don't
Yeah.
have that contingency plan that these other superstars
Exactly.
have to keep getting the precisions. And precisions are probably some of the weaker moves in the game.
Yeah,
Because your first one's getting hit by reach exceeds your grasp.
pretty well. Yeah. So, I'm still working on her. She's fun. We'll make something work. If you have ideas on how to make Becky work, just post it in the Discord and we'll go from there.
Should have brought this up before the revisions.
Yeah.
Maybe she would have got it revised.
Becky. Alright, so do we want to do our card compare? We've gone almost an hour already, so.
Are we really? I haven't been timing. We can go.
Stay tuned, I'm gonna check the timer. Yeah, 45 minutes. 45?
You know what? No, let's end it on the Becky rant.
Yeah.
That's fine. That was a card compare. There was our card comparison.
Yeah,
we were comparing.
Divas, but they're not divas anymore, are they? They're female superstars.
They are all divas. Bailey is not a diva.
Oh, okay. Okay. So they are technically divas, but they're females. They can run the era.
Let me look at a Bailey pre-match and get angry too.
Oh no, don't look at the headband.
No, not the headband.
No.
So even like Bailey, she's a 6'2". When your opponent's non-reversal D1 or greater card is successful, and damage is applied, you put 1 non-reversal maneuver or 1 setup from your ringside into your hand. Like,
So I just get a free card. Look at that.
she's better precision than Becky.
Yeah. Still making fun of Becky.
It's like she got 2 pre-match cards. She got a mid-match card. Use your like she deals with a lot of like face down card stuff, and she gets the 4 horsewomen as well. Where's the love for Becky Lynch? She has like the coolest looking face card of the 4 of them too.
Alright, so that'll wrap us up for this episode. We'll get one more in before we head south for FunCon.
Yeah, we'll have a guest for the next episode. We're going to do a guest every other episode, so once a month. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be relevant to Planet FunkCon. And when we're down there, we're going to be recording a whole bunch of stuff
well, I'm
with
sure
the various
we'll
players.
do some episodes in the car ride there, the car ride back. Do some we can do our tournament reviews on the car ride back. We have nothing else to do for 12 hours.
Plus traffic.
Friday night social games. I'm sure we'll record and be chatting around.
Well, I heard that aside from us, there's going to be 2 other people recording games.
Nice.
So
we can have our feature table and random table.
Let's get ready to spend your summer watching Raw Deal on YouTube.
Alrighty, that wraps us up for episode 18. See you in 2 weeks.
Oh, hold on. For people watching on YouTube, so we're recording this. I'm temporarily rooming with a friend, and he'll really enjoy this. So our friend is a big Ninja Turtles fan, so I just want to show off all of his Ninja Turtles collectibles and statues. And I won't show the cube. I'll ask him if I can show the cube.
Yeah.
Say goodbye, Scott.